Hello YouTube. I just want to do a quick video today. Thank you for tuning in. So welcome to Cam Saves Money. I just want to talk about Veganuary. Um, it plays on the tongue, doesn't it? Veganuary. But I just want to say how Veganuary has really been hijacked by commerce. You know, commerce, they've just taken all this food and just commercialized it. You know, after Christmas, we want to be detoxifying. You know, I know that is not the the right word, because our livers detoxify anyway, but we want, because we have been eating to excess for at least 1 month. December's excess, December's debauchery, December's decadence, so much food we've had over Christmas. And January is a time to just give your body a break from having to process so much food in vast quantities, and so much sugar, and so much fat, and so many oils. And it's just, we have to give our bodies a break. But the companies, the commerce has hijacked this, because they think vegan food, we need to play around with this, we need to make money, we need to further our profits, so we give them vegan alternatives, so we give them alternative meats, so instead of having the real meat, we'll give them this stuff full of alternative meat, which is far from healthy, far from healthy. If you look at the labels, salt, sugar in vast quantities, emulsifiers in vast quantities, and it's not just, it's just not, it's not what we can, we can't sustain that. We can't sustain processing all this food. One day our bodies will just give up, At the moment, when you introduce something to your body, it's compensating. That's what the body naturally does. It compensates. If it's lacking in something, it will compensate. It will take it from somewhere else in the body, and eventually, it can't compensate because it doesn't have it. So that time, you won't even associate that with your diet, because it's happened such a long time ago. You started eating all these foods a long time ago, but you had no effect of that on your body. And then maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, you started having all these symptoms, and you won't associate it with your diet because it's never troubled you when you started it. And so this is what happens in the human body. When it's compensating, because it needs nutrients, it needs those nutrients to survive. And if you don't have them, it will take them from somewhere because it needs it. So this vegan food is so unhealthy. It's stripped of nutrients. It's stripping you just for the sake of taste. It's engineered, to give you a good taste, a good mouthfeel, but then, strips it of nutrients, because you can't, because that's how it's ultra processed. It goes through so many stages that it goes through so many stages where you strip off the layers, one layer of nutrients and another layer of nutrients. And have you ever, I've got something here, it's ultra processed, and there are lots of ingredients in here, and I'll need to read it to you because there's so many ingredients, and it's taking up at least, look, the list of ingredients takes at least maybe just less than a quarter of that cover. And this is dark chocolate, reasonable. And then you've got sugar, the second one. And then you've got, glucose syrup, which is sugar as well. And then you've got another sugar. And then you've got, and an emulsifier as well of soya. And that's just in natural, eat natural. And you know, this bar is expensive. This is quite, I didn't buy this. I've had this for a long time in my cupboard. And even it's probably expired as well by now. Let me check the date on this. It's expired, I'm pretty sure. But I thought I'd just keep it. I didn't know what else to do. I'm sure I can't even give it to the food bank because they don't take expired food. Yeah, it expired in March last year, but I'll just keep it, and it's kept its shape. It hasn't broken down or anything. But this is just one example of something that is ultra processed. But you know, it's expensive. These bars are expensive. I think they're about £1 each, or maybe an offer for about 3, 4, 4. I don't know. It's been a long time. Because I used to buy these. I used to buy this maybe once or twice a month, not regularly, but once or twice a month I used to buy these, and they are delicious. They are, but they're very moreish. So once you start eating, really you can't stop. You can't, you know, you have to have another one. You don't feel satisfied. You don't feel satiated with this. So so Veganuary has really just been hijacked by commerce. They use that vegan label as a halo, as a health halo. You know, if you say vegan, people think it's healthy. People really do believe it's healthy, but you know, it's only until you look at the ingredients. But I don't know, many vegan people, you know, people will, I mean, I'm not saying I don't know many people have vegan for either for their health purposes or ethical purposes. You know, it's up to you what sort of diet you want to follow. It's really up to, if you want the carnivore. I'm just focusing on veganism because of the way commerce has really hijacked this. You know, they're giving you the word vegan on the packet, and people think it's a healthy product. It's alternative to meat, is healthy, and the commerce is acting in our best interest. They're not acting in our best interest. They just want to increase their profits. That's what's driving them. They want to increase their profits. That's their main driver. And if they give you tasty food, they are driving them. They are succeeding in that, you know. But your health is being compromised, you know. It's a compromise on your health. So they're compromising your health to further their profits because you want to have tasty food. So they're striving to produce that food that has a good mouth feel, feels good in your tongue. But you know, what happens after that, once it travels down the esophagus and into the stomach, is another matter. You know, they're not looking out for that part of the digestive system. It's only the mouth. You know, the mouth is a part of the digestive system. They're focusing on only that. But that, it ends, you know, the taste ends once, you know, it goes beyond here. When it goes down to here, your taste has ended. And now your body has to take the consequences. It has to break down that food. And it's fine. It wants nutrients from that food, but they're not forthcoming because they've been stripped. So what does the body do? It has to compensate. It's going to get something from somewhere else. And the food is giving you the sodium, the preservatives, and the binders, you know. And the sodium already, you know, is too much salt. If you cook a meal, it's impossible to increase the amount of sodium you have in your food. But you know, they have to add the sodium because there's no taste to the food. without that sodium, they, that's the way you taste the food. So, they are very clever. They have scientists on board. They have taste testers, millions of pounds in marketing, millions of pounds in, producing these goods. And the end product is a highly ultra processed item. But, what I don't like is that it's just everywhere. It's ubiquitous, it's everywhere. And you go into the petrol station, you can't find anything. You can find coffee in the plastic cups, you can find that. You can just have as much coffee and in as many cups as you want to, and drink, using that spout. You can have chocolates, you can have sweets, but there's very little food, actual food in the, but maybe it's just not the place where you have the food. So I'm just want to say that foods that are vegan, I've got here. Look, this is vegan. This is a leek and it's vegan completely. And I'm just taking it from my basket. I've got sweet potato. It's completely vegan, low fat vegan. And I've got this cabbage, which is completely vegan as well. So we've got so many vegan foods, but they're not making it. This is not making profit for commerce. It's not doing that. This is not making £1 million for anyone. The only time when this is going to make a profit is when you add sugar, when you add lots of salt, and when you add emulsifiers, preservatives to it, completely stripping it, taking it away from the taste and everything away from it. And I've got this beetroot as well. That's vegan, and this is actually delicious. But I do understand if you don't have time to cook, and you need to have these ultra processed foods, but really you're just not doing yourself a favor by doing this. The reason is, if you're having the ultra processed meals, you are depleting your body of energy. You don't have energy. So you will have energy just to perform the basic, task of everyday living. Once 6 o'clock, once 5 o'clock comes, you're shattered because you don't have the energy. You're not giving your body the food it needs. So this is why you are exhausted, and you're just, maybe you just can't do anything for the rest of the day because you've depleted all your energy just for work. But because you're busy. But once you start eating good food, giving your body the energy it needs, you can actually come home after work and you have sufficient energy to be able to cook or prepare a meal. And that's how it is. You have the potential, to do it. You have the potential despite your busy lifestyle. I mean, I have been there myself. I've had 3 children, and I've always cooked from scratch, despite having very, very little time, school runs, working. I always found myself, cooking. I made sure I cooked in the morning or in the afternoon. I had that window, maybe 1 hour. And but because I meal planned as well, I thought, I have to prepare the meals, otherwise nobody's eating anything. We just didn't have the money to buy ultra processed foods because it's expensive. And that's another thing about ultra processed foods, it's expensive. If you have a look, like I used to buy those pucker pies, and they were the steak, the steak and the vegan pucker pies. They are nice, I have to admit they're delicious, They ooze so much gravy. It's just so delicious, and it's expensive. I could only buy them when they were reduced. So I would go to Co-op, I would see them reduced in the reduction in this aisle in the fridge where it's reduced, and I would go there and they would be reduced down to maybe £2 to 99p or 50p if I was very lucky, and I would buy them in bulk. I'd buy this ultra processed food in bulk, and I would just leave it. I would just keep it in my freezer. But I couldn't afford to pay £2. If you got a family of 4 and you're eating ultra processed foods, then that's £2 per pie. Unless you're buying the very, very cheap foods in Iceland, you can buy maybe 4 pies, I don't know, for £2. I have no idea because I don't go to Iceland. So, I was doing that, but I won't do it now because I'm just really keeping my ultra processed food to a minimum. I'm not saying I'm eliminating it because I still go out. I still will eat with my children if they want something. I won't say no because, you have to be sociable. And I don't want to be antisocial, but I'm just saying it's not a major part of my diet. It's very, very minor. On a week-to-week basis, I just eat fresh food from scratch. Like I cooked some chickpeas curry with potato, and I had it just cooking away in the rice in the slow cooker today. And I had it this evening, and it was fresh, and there was very little active cooking time, very little. I just popped everything in there, the turmeric powder, the onions, and it was fine, it turned out really nice, and that's what I'll be eating. And this is what I'll be eating, so I'm okay. But this highly processed foods is very expensive. You can spend a lot of money every week buying this food. But my budget is £25 a week because I just buy whole foods. But don't allow these companies to be hijacking your senses just because it's vegan, because vegan doesn't mean it's going to be healthy. It's not going to do you any favors, those claims are just, there's people who don't want to have animals harmed, they will go to those foods, but nothing's been harmed in this plucking this out of the ground. No animal has been harmed. No animal has been harmed in plucking this out of the ground. So I'm just saying that, just be conscious, what you do, what you put into your mouth, because, just try and take the time to cook from scratch, and you will save a lot of money, and you will save time. It will take time now because you're not used to, you don't have time in your day-to-day, but once you start making the time, in about maybe in 1 or 2 months, you'll start thinking, oh, I do have time to cook. It will take less time. The more you cook, the more proficient you become, and the less time it takes. So, just don't fall for all these vegan things. I mean, I know if I did a video about taste testing a vegan product, my video will go viral. But I don't want to be propagating that sort of message on YouTube. I don't want to be testing. I don't want, those are not my values. I'm just, if I test a sausage, there's a new sausage that keeps on coming up on YouTube, on X, you know, when I watch something on X, ITVX, a new sausage that's out on the market, vegan sausage. I could try that out and, you know,